Hope you are having a beautiful Sunday. I'm the Grace Strega, and we're going to be doing the daily collective read for today, Sunday, January 22nd, 2023. What is coming up today in the cards? Let's get started with our 5-card spread. Can I please have the first 5 cards? The first card we are coming up with today is the King of Cups in its reversal. So we are seeing here, this is going to strike a little bit differently depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Particularly, we see here that this is a masculine energy that is feeling in a bit of a deficit. This is related specifically to emotionality. So that for a lot of the masculine energy today, there's going to be feeling some frustration or inability to express their emotionality, or this could be an overflow of emotion. It's usually too much or too little. There is something here that is being held back, and it's that suppression of these emotions that is causing this misalignment with the masculine energy for today. Can I please get the next card for the 5-card spread? We've got a lot more cards coming out. We've got the next 4 cards coming through. This is also going to be very interesting because, particularly for the masculine energy, because there is something here about these 2 different energies coming through for masculine today. So if you align to the masculine energy today, what we are seeing is while you are feeling kind of an overflow of emotion or a restriction of your emotionality, an inability to truly express or articulate your emotions in a positive way, we're also seeing here that you are at the same time stepping into this feeling of power, of authority. And what we're really seeing here with the masculine energy is a moment where they're kind of letting their sense of leadership and power kind of override their own emotionality as it relates to circumstances or situations. So this could indicate the fact that masculine is moving forward in some very strong capacity in some areas in their life, while they're potentially holding back on some other areas emotionally. Now, for feminine energy, this is going to potentially come through as 2 different energies coming towards you right now. This could be an energy of a masculine that is in this emotional flux period, either not communicating with their emotions or being overly communicative with their emotions in a way that makes it hard for you to connect with them, versus another masculine energy around you that is strong, that is powerful, that is confident, that is showing you this sense of strength and control as it relates to themselves and their own power and abilities to move forward. Little bit of a different message here, but this is what we're seeing. All of this is to say that this is giving you some insight or ability to move forward as it relates to where you find yourself today. We like seeing this because we did see a bit of a blockage in the last few days with the card of the day as it relates to how you're going to proceed and how you're going to move forward. There's certainly some areas we saw with the daily card of the day where there is this feeling of not being able to make something move or take action in the way that you want to. However, we do see that this is a moment that you are moving forward, though potentially carrying some grief or hurt as it relates to a circumstance or scenario. This could potentially have something to do with some of this masculine energy that we see that is in its deficit. So there is this sense of loss as you move forward from this point, but we do see that progress happening. Continuing to get clarity right now. A lot of this is getting clarified by the 4 of Wands in its reversal. So for many of you, there was some other desired outcome that you have been hoping for. And today is the day that you're really going to allow yourself to let go of that possibility or let go of that potential positive future scenario that you were hoping for. Bearing in mind that this does not mean that there aren't other possible future scenarios that are available to you. But this is the moment of acceptance that we see that is giving you the strength to kind of be able to move forward from this point, potentially holding some of that grief. Continuing to get clarity on these cards, the final card for the top 5 we have, bear with me a minute. Here is that blockage again with the 3 of Wands in its reversal. So while there is this choice of moving forward, is this uncertainty on what the future holds and where you want to go and how you want to proceed. This is the blockage that we've been seeing over the last few days with the daily card of the day. This is a good reminder today to really ground, to really manifest, to really focus your intentions on what you hope for as it relates to your desired future outcomes. And this is going to help give you the clarity as you move forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity right now, getting clarity between this King of Cups in its reversal and this Emperor energy. So for the masculines, being in a place right now where you may be feeling a little bit overly emotional or cut off from your emotions, kind of building that like wall in yourself around your own emotionality, but not necessarily letting yourself stop in this point, moving into your place of power, moving into the place of taking actions or trying to go forward in some way. Whereas for feminine, this could be feeling like two oppositional energies, one masculine that is a masculine and manifestation in your life right now that is either non-communicative or overly emotional with their reactions, versus this Emperor, versus this strong energy that's coming towards you right now. Can I please get one card to clarify? We've got three cards to clarify. And these are all coming out on top of each other. So this is this reawakening moment. This is the moment that you are kind of coming back to life, coming back, rising back up from some period of rest. More than anything, though, there is a desire of completing a cycle, of putting down a burden, something that is potentially becoming a bit too heavy for you to bear. And still not necessarily being sure how to proceed from this point. This could feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy. Now, for the feminine energy, this could be feeling like, again, trying to make determinations around masculine energy right now, or having to make a choice and feeling a little uncertain on what that choice should be, even though you have these options that are around you. Whereas for masculine energy, I feel that this flux is occurring because you find yourself in a place, well, while you're feeling empowered, you are feeling very emotionally vulnerable. And this is giving you a moment where, again, you want to rise up, you want to take actions, but also you're very tired of carrying the weight of this emotionality. For both energies, it's making it very hard to figure out what is the right path as you move forward from this point. Continuing to get clarity right now, clarifying between this Emperor energy, so this sense of strength, this sense of power that is kind of going to feel very heavy on your life today, and this making these choices and potentially even getting some security from this strong masculine energy that is in the kind of around you today, to move forward, to make your choice, to head into the areas that you need to, though potentially carrying some of the grief as you do so along the way. And for masculine energy, this is going to be feeling like a very empowering moment, even though there is some grief here. While for feminine, this could be, again, moving towards this type of energy as you are carrying grief. May I please get one card to clarify? We have the Seven of Swords. So for many of you today, this is a moment of looking forward while also looking backwards. So even though you are kind of taking this point of acceptance today and allowing yourself to move forward, there is this constriction point. This is the thing that's got you in flux right now, because you're still looking back on past situations, on past scenarios that have caused you potentially pain, and asking yourself if you should return back to them. This is the difficulty, because we see that you are still moving forward with this grief, as indicated by the Six of Swords here, that this is something that that's still weighing very heavily on your heart as you move forward from this point. But there's still this question, even as you start to proceed down this path, if you should return to those past circumstances and situations. Masculine's going to feel kind of empowered in this moment as they take these steps. Feminine, again, may be moving towards a masculine energy that they do feel is more secure, while still kind of looking back into the past. Continuing to get clarity on these points right now, clarifying between the Six of Swords. So this moment of grief, this moment of feeling lost, as you look at some future scenarios that you feel are just completely, that you're moving away from, that the possibility for them is not necessarily achievable in some way. Can I please get one card to clarify? We've got two cards here. Here's that other energy again. Here's that other energy. It's going to feel a little different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy. Now, for masculine energy, this is a moment of kind of feeling some grief and some loss, because more than anything, whatever you're moving away to, it is making you feel very unstable as you do so. That there is something about having this instability point from this desired outcome not being in your reach. And this is what's creating this sense of instability for you, and also kind of potentially returning to some negative coping mechanisms as a result. This could have to do with bad modes of thought, bad bad habits, bad modalities. This could even relate to potentially toxic relationships. Now, if you are a feminine moving forward from this point right now, what we really see is that you are going through a place where you are kind of experiencing this feeling of grief or loss as you kind of move away from this desired outcome or scenario that you had your hopes on. But it is with the recognition that you are doing so because you are trying to move away from a masculine energy that you feel has some instability around them, because they are aligned to this energy of having some negative thoughts, bad negative modes of thought, negative bad coping mechanisms, or even there's something about this energy that is feeling toxic or not helpful to you on your journey. Continuing to get clarity between these points right now, clarifying between the Six of Swords. So moving away from these situations and circumstances, though carrying the grief with you as you do, and still feeling that uncertainty on where you are heading or where you are approaching as you take this journey for yourself away from the things that are feeling unstable or uncertain. Can I please get one card to clarify? There it is. This is a moment where you are trying to find things that are going to bring you some joy or some happiness, that there are new energies that are coming around you. And this is what is also kind of helping you through this moment right now, that are giving you these moments of ease, of joy, of relaxation, really kind of looking for places where you can try to find that joy for yourself, even as you're kind of carrying the burden of whatever this experience is weighing on your heart so heavily. Continuing to get clarity between these cards today, clarifying between this energy here that we see, this reawakening moment, and this putting down of a heavy burden that is indicated by the Ten of Wands. Thank you so much for the gift. But also having this lack of clarity as it relates to the path forward. And some focus and attention being called back to the past. This continuing return to looking back at past scenarios that caused pain, maybe even asking yourself if you should return back to them to kind of resolve them or remedy them, though often, but also recognizing that these places caused you pain and will continue to cause you pain. May I please get one card to clarify? We've got two cards coming up. The first one is victory. And this is very interesting because this is a moment of feeling, this is why we see this inability to move forward or backwards, because there is something here that does feel like there is some victory that you are achieving or having right now. However, it's coming at the cost of some desired outcome or some desired future scenario that, again, you're just really not able to focus on as you look at the future. This is, again, kind of a reference back to this Four of Wands energy in its reversal. This is also bearing in mind, though, that this is a mode of thought, that just because that there's something about this that says that this particular plan or path that you would hope for yourself does not seem achievable, but at the same time, you are experiencing some larger success as it relates to this. This could be some kind of choice that you had to make between your own personal success and some desired future outcome that you had your sights on. This is the moment where you're feeling potentially ambivalent about it because it is kind of success coming at some sort of price. And that is a bit of a grieving process that we see that you are undergoing as it relates to looking at these circumstances and scenarios from the past. Continuing to get clarity between these cards right now, getting clarity between the Seven of Swords. So looking back on past situations, past scenarios, places that may have caused you grief or hurt. For masculine, having these moments of instability because whatever these circumstances are, you feel that they are potentially triggering you or bringing up bad modes of thought or bad habits or bad coping mechanisms. For feminine, potentially a day of addressing or looking at some past scenarios from the past and feeling an association with some kind of masculine energy that may be connected to those experiences that was associated with these bad habits and triggers and coping mechanisms. Or some toxicity in the relationship itself. Can I please get one card to clarify? Hold on, we dropped some cards. One card, please. We've got two cards coming up. We have here, this is causing for feminine, particularly today, this is the match to the King of Cups in its reversal. So masculine is in a place with emotional lockdown or emotional overflow, and feminine is very much there too. This is being spurred on, though, because of their connection to these past circumstances or scenarios and this masculine energy that they feel is associated with these bad coping mechanisms. Whereas for masculine, I feel like this is a trigger point where they are also looking back at past scenarios and feeling triggered because of a feminine who they feel is not emotionally available to them at this point. And for both energies, feeling very kind of locked in, shut in, kind of not necessarily feeling that eager to go out. There's a lot of healing or recuperation happening around whatever this experience is that is requiring some retreat, as it were. That this is also showing us that inability to move forward that we saw, that difficulty of vision in terms of what this path forward looks like. Now, there is a moment here that is saying that this in itself is kind of like a coping mechanism that's keeping you in a place where you're healing your hurts, though it might not necessarily be super positive to kind of stay so shut in, so indoors as you experience this. But that is basically the energy that you're feeling, just not that vitality or energy to kind of push forward, even though you are kind of ready to take those, you're accepting that you must with this Six of Swords that we see. Continuing to get clarity right now, clarifying between this King of Pentacles and its reversal. So a masculine energy that is feeling a bit unstable, particularly as it has to do with their tangibles, potentially their home, their finances, their security, anything that you can measure. And this bringing up some kind of coping mechanisms or bad connections as they kind of deal with this feeling. And for feminine, some kind of energy like this in your zone, but also new energy coming towards you that is offering kind of a break from this. It's giving you some moment of vitality, giving you some moment of relief, if it were, from kind of dwelling in this energy right now. For masculine, this could be turning towards energies right now that are trying to be supportive, that are trying to kind of get you out of your headspace as you go through this experience. Can I please get one card to clarify? We have Judgment. This is the moment that again, we keep having the Judgment card coming up. This is a moment that big decisions are being reached. Big determinations are being made as it relates to how to move forward. So we don't necessarily see you taking those steps today forward, but we do see that for a lot of you, this is helping make the determination in this zone that you find yourself in. Masculine is obviously trying to move into something that makes them feel happier right now and gets them out of these bad coping mechanisms. Feminine is potentially trying to do something to move them away from this masculine energy that they feel is in this unstable place that has them so closely associated with these bad coping mechanisms. There are determinations being reached. Let's get some clarity on what those determinations are. So clarifying right now between this back and forth energy of Ace of Swords, so feeling some sort of victory right now, but at the same time trying to suffer or go through the experience of coming to terms with some desired future outcome that you don't necessarily feel is occurring the way that you had hoped, or not in the same manifestation that you hoped for, but still experiencing some sort of victory on the heels of it at the same time, along with this feeling of, particularly, this is a moment that is very over emotional for feminine as they go through this. This is expressing themselves either as a pulling back of emotion or an overflow of emotion, and feeling kind of locked in or shut down as you kind of go through this experience. May I please get one card to clarify? And for masculine, this could be this desired future outcome that is not happening because you feel like this feminine is not in an energetic zone where they're going to be welcoming or accepting of you. Can I please get one card to clarify? We have the Five of Cups in its reversal, which I'm very glad to see, because what this really says is this is what's allowing this Ace of Swords to come through, that there is this continuation to try to look on the bright side of whatever situation has occurred that has caused this grief or has caused this pain, really trying to move towards those possible futures, move towards those possible outcomes, look at the bright side of what is still around, even in the face of something that feels like a bit of a loss as it relates to the future plans or possibilities. So there is this movement out of this energy as we continue through the day. Continuing to get clarity right now between the Ace of Cups and its reversal right now. So particularly for feminine energy, feeling this overflow of emotion or this constriction of your emotions or an inability to share your emotions about something, and feeling kind of locked in or locked down in yourself as you try to heal. For masculine, feeling kind of locked in and locked down right now because this energy is inaccessible to you in some way. But for both energies, using this moment to make some determinations as you go forward, to make some big decisions as you go forward. Can I please get one card to clarify? Oof. We've got strength in its transverse. So this is the moment where everyone is trying to get their strength back. This is the moment where, everyone's confidence is flagging a bit today. But we do see this movement into a more positive headspace. You're just not at a place right now where you're feeling super confident with your decisions because you don't really see that what your plan is going to be as you move forward. And this is where this ambivalence is coming from. This is where this uncertainty is. So for a lot of you today is going to be a lot about trying to kind of get your courage back, if you will, because something here was a blow to your courage. And this is what you're trying to kind of deal with as you're going through this moment of looking on the bright side of the circumstance or situation. Now, the final card for today's spread, getting clarity between this Five of Cups in its reversal and this Strength transverse. For having a moment where you're really trying to change your perspective, you're really trying to look on the bright side. Even though that is feeling like a struggle, even though that is feeling like a difficulty, particularly because you don't feel like you are in a place where you are as confident as you typically would be or may have been prior to whatever this is that you are experiencing. Can I please get the final card for today's spread? We've got 3 cards coming up. We're going to read all of them. Okay, what we're really seeing here is this is a moment where you are necessarily, this is where we're seeing this strength card in its transverse, because there is something here where you're having a hard time truly seizing or truly looking at all of the opportunities or bright aspects that you have with you right now. You're not necessarily looking at yourself with the right perspective. You're not truly allowing yourself to really embrace all the positives in your life right now. And there may be an overthinking or an overdwelling on kind of the situation or circumstance you find yourself in that feels like a bit of a low point. Whenever I see this, it's a huge reminder that really perception is key right now, and continuing to try to focus towards these bright possibilities and these bright circumstances is what's going to help you try to get out of this funk. But we do see that even in the midst of this, you are moving into places with new contracts, new opportunities, moving back into a conventional approach, almost in a moment of lack of confidence, that because you are in this moment right now where you are potentially feeling not in your most strong, not in your most emotional strongest place, and you're having this anxiety as it relates to your future because you're not focusing on those possibilities. This is what's moving you into this space of kind of returning into conventionality or returning to something that feels like a comfort zone for you. One to keep in mind here that's very important to bear in mind, that a lot of this has to do with your headspace right now. So be careful of any big promises that you make today until you're totally sure and you're back in your place of positivity. Giving you bottom of the deck right now, so something to keep in mind as you go forward. This is King of Swords in its reversal. So we're really seeing here that a lot of this has to do with some of the anxiety around masculine energy right now. This is going to feel a little different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy. For masculine energy, this can be a feeling like a moment of disempowerment, of not feeling like you have the ability to kind of move forward in the way that you would hope. And it's this moment of disempowerment that you're really struggling with. It's not making it very hard for you to see the prospective future plans and scenarios that you were hoping for. For feminine right now, this is feeling like there is potentially this masculine energy that we see coming up multiple times here in its reversal, that you feel just is not necessarily being confident, is showing you kind of a moment where they're kind of coming off with you're seeing them as someone who's operating from fear or cowardice. And it's this issue around this masculine, or this uncertainty around this masculine energy, that is also keeping you in this block. So it's going to feel like a bit of a rough emotional day. I'm going to say that for both masculine and feminine energy. But again, we do see some positives as it relates to kind of moving forward, as is being indicated by this Five of Cups in its reversal. Well, that is it for me for today as it relates to the Daily Collective Read. Just remember, if you'd like to book a private reading, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. You can please keep in mind when you book a private reading, it's 2 buttons. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have a reading. My private readings are done over Zoom with the option of recording being sent to you afterwards. And if you're a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you go to pay. Just wanted to thank you guys so much for being here with me today. We will do this again tomorrow, and I hope you have a beautiful day. All right, guys, so that was the